Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jen with Simply Better Wellness, and today we are going to talk about feeling overwhelmed. First of all, it is a dreary, rainy day here in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and it's been this way all week, honestly. And it has put a damper in some of my goals for the week, because every time I go to do an outdoor task, it starts getting dark and rainy and it just messes everything up. So I have been feeling very, very overwhelmed this week and just feeling like I'm getting behind in my plans, and honestly, even feeling like I'm getting behind, there's so much on my plate right now that I just don't feel like there's enough hours in the day to begin with. So that piled on top of, I have a plan to do something today and then we don't get around to it until 3 or 4 days later. And there's been other things that piled on since then. It's just been a lot. It has been a lot. And I have been feeling very, very overwhelmed on our homestead lately. We are right at the beginning of the 2024 farm season, and there are a ton of tasks that go along with the prep of beginning the farm season. So things like starting seeds and getting the garden ready and amending soil and doing any infrastructure and raising chicks and all of that kind of compiles on top of whatever your day-to-day already is. Then you add in the aspect of I'm also a business owner, I'm a mom, I'm a wife. I don't know if you guys can hear that, my heat just kicked on. But there's just so much that goes into every single day right now. And like I said, I've just been feeling that stress of it all and the overwhelm. And so I was actually listening to a podcast episode the other day and on this topic of overwhelm. And it really got me thinking about things that maybe clients have said or friends have said recently. And so I just wanted to come on and make a video and share some information about those feelings of overwhelm and maybe some tips that I utilize in times like this in my life, that honestly I had to remind myself of. I had to remind myself that I've been here before. I've gone through this. Every year around this time, I feel this way. So I had to kind of give myself a pep talk yesterday and remind myself that I know what to do to handle this. So I'm going to share some of those tips with you guys, and then honestly just have a really vulnerable, honest conversation about the season of life that we're in right now and how we're handling it, and hopefully let you know that you're not alone in this either. We're all going through it and we will make it through it together. All right, so let's get started. So let's just dive right into this, okay? All right. Like I said, we're in a season of overwhelm on our farm, and just in our life in general right now. And it all kind of came to a head yesterday. So we had a very busy day yesterday. I had goals that I was working on. My husband had goals he was working on. We both felt like the other person wasn't listening to our goals or weren't as invested in what we wanted. So, that added a level of complexity there. And then just the amount of things on our to-do list in like the next 5 days are just absolutely insane. So, I really started thinking about, how I felt, because honestly, last night I was to a point I felt like I was going to have a panic attack. It was so just, I kept going, we're never going to get all this done. We're never going to get it all accomplished. So I had to remind myself that we've been in seasons like this before and how we handled that. So I'm going to share those tips with you guys. But first I want you to kind of understand the magnitude of what we're dealing with right now. So this in front of me is my to-do list from yesterday. Okay. So I call mine a to-do list. And that's something that I learned in coaching school, is that if you call it a to-do list instead of a to-do list, a to-do list sounds like work. You know what I mean? It sounds like work that you have to accomplish to, be able to mark it off. A to-do list is fun. You're excited. You're excited to mark off that to-do list. So, that's, just what I call it. But this is my list from yesterday. And so let's go through it. My list was feed and water the chicks, water plants, re-edit a YouTube video. I had a YouTube video that I posted and then realized that the music never lined up correctly. So, there was really loud music playing over me talking. So I had to go in and fix that, scooch that music over where it was supposed to be. So I had to re-edit that and repost that. I had a working lunch with my husband. So we do that every now and then when we're going into, especially at the beginning of gardening season, and, or if we have really crazy schedules, we'll schedule what we call a working lunch, and we'll have lunch together, go through plans, and kind of hash things out and get it all situated. So we had a working lunch with the husband. Then I needed to clean out our garden shed, clean my kitchen, which was absolutely freaking destroyed just from days of not being home. Just my kitchen was awful. Make sourdough bagels. I needed to deliver some SCOBY to a friend, so some kombucha SCOBY. Up pot my tomatoes, clean my house, put away all the groceries, because there was we had grocery shopped the day before and not gotten back till really late, so all the groceries were still sitting on the kitchen table. So those had to get put away. And then we had an elementary school concert last night. Now, I don't have kids in elementary school anymore, but a lot of my friends' kids are in elementary school. So we had the elementary school concert that I went to attend to support those kids. So it was a lot in a day. And all of this is on top of my regular work day. So all of this, there's a couple of work tasks in here, but it doesn't include my actual income earning job. So yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. And so on top of all of these tasks, plus working, we had multiple people stopping by yesterday for different things. So that took time away from doing these tasks. And honestly, what ended up happening was by the end of the evening, I was so overwhelmed. I felt like my head was spinning. I went to the concert, and yes, I was there, and it was the cutest concert. Oh my gosh, it was super cute. But I felt like I wasn't even there. My brain wasn't even registering what I was seeing. I was so just overwhelmed. So then afterwards, a friend was taking their family out for pizza, and they had asked if we wanted to go. And honestly, I just need to go home. I just need to go home. I still have a ton to do tonight, and I need to go home. But I just felt like giving up. I felt like there was no way I was going to accomplish everything on that list. And so why should I even try? That was the wall I hit by the end of the day. I felt completely and utterly overwhelmed. And so if you look at my list, I didn't complete all of these tasks. There are tasks on here that are not marked off. I did not get around to cleaning the garden shed out. I did get some of it done, but I did not complete that task. I didn't get around to making the homemade bagels I wanted to make. I didn't get around to up-potting my tomatoes or cleaning my house. And those groceries are still sitting on my kitchen table. So there wasn't enough hours in my day to accomplish everything. I tried really hard. I literally worked from the time I dropped my son off at school, so like 8:15 in the morning, until like 9:30 last night on doing stuff. And honestly, one thing on this list got done around 1 o'clock in the morning. So it's not like I didn't try. There just wasn't enough hours in my day. And I hate when that happens, because if I don't finish these tasks, then they move on to the next day's to-do list. And for me, that feels very overwhelming, because I already have a list of shit I need to get done today. I already have a to-do list. I don't have time to add things from this list onto today's list. It's not possible. And so if I end up having to move things from yesterday onto today's list, then that means something from today's list has to go onto tomorrow's list. And it is a vicious cycle. And for me, that feels completely overwhelming. I have 2 kids. I have 2 kids that are very unique, have very unique needs. Both my kids have a different form of ADHD. Also, my husband and I both struggle with that. So we're a household of neurodivergence. I like to say that I'm the queen of the neurodivergence here, because I'm the one who has to keep everyone on task because they struggle with it. Well, I also struggle with staying on task. So it gets really, really overwhelming at times to complete everything on my to-do list, while also making sure everyone else's needs are met, while also making sure that my needs are met. It's kind of like that scene in the Barbie movie where she does the monologue. Is that what it's called? Monologue? About all the things that are on women's shoulders all the time, how we're supposed to be, you can't be too skinny, you can't be too fat, and you can't pretend that you enjoy something, but also you can't hate it. Like, whatever. You know the scene I'm talking about. If not, go watch it. It is incredible. But that's how it feels sometimes. Like, we're being pulled in a million different directions, and we don't know where to start, where the center is, where to, even get some forward motion going. And I used to think that I thrived in those times. I used to think that I thrived in the chaos of it all. But honestly, I don't. It's really overwhelming to me. And it really, really kicks my anxiety into high gear. That's what I was experiencing yesterday. Was just that I was overwhelmed. My anxiety kicked in, and I just felt like I hit a wall. Like, honestly, I felt like I hit a wall in my day. And so what I've learned over time, though, is that where I don't thrive in that chaos, I do thrive in being busy. Okay? I love tasks that keep me busy. I have those like idle hands going on. I don't like to just sit around and do nothing. And so, I thrive on tasks that earn income for my family. I thrive on tasks that give me a chance to be creative. I thrive on tasks that challenge my brain. And I love to lead women in that same way, to help them figure out what tasks it are that really, light them on fire and feed into their passion, because those are the tasks that I love to do as well. At times when we're in this state, though, where we're so busy that we reach this point of overwhelm, that is when we have to bring in some tools. We have to remind ourselves of some things that help us get through those seasons. So that's what I want to share with you guys right now, is just some tips and tools that I use when I'm in this season of overwhelm. So the first tip that I'm going to give you guys is planning. So I have never been a spontaneous person. My husband is. We were actually talking about this when we were making our garden plan yesterday. And I told him, I was like, I feel like every year you just want to like willy-nilly the shit out of our garden. Like, we sat down to garden plan and he's just like, let's sprinkle all the seeds and things will grow and it'll be great. And it will, but is it going to provide the needs for our family? So my husband and I are very different farmers. Like I said, he's very like fly by the seat of his pants, willy-nilly. And I need to have a meticulous plan. I need to know what is growing. Are we going to grow enough to get through our year? What, adaptations do we need to make to our soil? There's just lots of things. I put a lot of time and effort into the planning of our garden year. And my husband's just like, let's, willy-nilly all the seeds. So what we found, though, is that planning is really important. So we sit down every year and we put together a garden plan with what we want to grow, how much of it, what do we need to start, how many plants are we starting for plant sales? Just really coming at it from a state of planning versus the spontaneity that my husband sometimes enjoys. And we do try to make sure we feed into his spontaneity too. So this year he actually has a garden in the back that is just going to be his. I'm not going to mess with it. I'm not going to plan it. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to let him willy-nilly the fuck out of it, and we'll see what happens. Because he needs that too, So I was like, okay, you don't touch my front garden. I won't touch your back garden. And whatever comes from both of those will just feed our family. So it is fine. Like, it is fine. But I definitely have found that my anxiety is less and I do better when I plan things out. So whether it be gardening season, whether it be planning my schedule for the week, I sit down every Sunday and I go through my schedule and I plan out what my schedule looks like for the week. We also do a lot of family planning. So we will have family meetings, especially if we get into a time where there's just a lot happening in our life, or, something is coming up, a especially difficult day to finagle everyone's schedule is coming up. We will have a family meeting and we will plan that out and figure out who's doing what at what time. Another thing that we utilize a lot is my husband and I have what we call business meetings. And like I was saying earlier, what we did yesterday, we met for lunch to do the garden planning for the year. And that time was specifically set aside for that task. And we will do that if, say, we have, bills that we need to go over, or planning the garden, or schedule planning, or whatever. We will be like, okay, can we just go to lunch and sit down and take care of all of this at one time, instead of like doing the fast in the hallway, like, hey, I've got this appointment at this time, and then it just never comes together cohesively. So that is my first tip, is just spend some time planning. It will give you a clear direction about where you're going and what needs to happen, so that you can then follow through with that. It can be even as simple as making your to-do list. Just have a plan. Go at it with a plan. If you write out your to-do list and then you see that there is too much to accomplish in one day, which I should have done yesterday. I should have known this was impossible to do on top of my already busy workday. So, putting pen to paper though, making that plan will at least give you some guidance, and then you can see, okay, well, this is too much to do. I need to move these tasks into a more manageable group. And we're going to talk about that in just a moment, about how to do that. My next tip for you guys is to identify what tasks are a priority for you. Okay? So what things absolutely have to be done, and what will survive if you don't get around to it right now. So how I do that is I rank my to-do list. So I rank it from what is most important to be done to what is least important. And then choose your top 3 things. And those are non-negotiables. Those have to get done for the day. Everything outside of that is manageable. Okay? So I'm going to sit down with you guys right now, write out my to-do list for today, and we're going to rank it. I'm going to show you guys this process with my real to-do list, my real plan for the day, and then we'll rank them, and you guys can see how this process works in action. So give me just a second to grab my stuff for today. Okay, you guys, so I prefer to make my to-do list on like a Google Sheet. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes it's just, scratched out on a sheet of paper. But if I have the time, I prefer to do it this way. So I open up a Google Sheet. I have my Google Sheet open. I've labeled it as to-do list for 5/3/24. And then I'm going to put basically everything that's in my brain into this document. So I'm just going to basically brain dump into it. So for today, the things that I need to accomplish are, I have a cleaning client that I'm meeting with at 11 a.m. And then I have an emotion code client at 3:30 p.m. Then I also have to go to Escanaba, which is about an hour away, and help my daughter move back home for the summer because her move out day for college is tomorrow. So we're doing part of her move today and part of her move tomorrow. So go to Esky to meet, we're going to put to move Trin. So those are 3 very important things, and they're 3 pretty much non-negotiable things in my day. I have to complete them. Then I also have a phone meeting with my aunt at 5 p.m. I'm not really sure what that's about. She had asked if me and my sister could call her today on a video chat. I'm not really sure what's going on there, but that's at 5 p.m. Then if I look at my to-do list from yesterday, I have things that didn't get completed that need to make their way to this list. Okay, so clean out garden, shed, then make sourdough bagels, cut tomatoes, clean house, put away groceries. And then I also have a load of laundry that needs to be done. I'm not gonna put to do there. I'm just gonna put load of laundry. And my son has to go to the library and pay for, they have like computers at school, and he accidentally broke his screen for it, so we have to pay for a new screen. So we have to go take care of that today. So me, Jordan, at the library at, we're gonna say 3 p.m. because it's like right when school gets out. So that has to be done. Is there anything else? Oh, my regular farm chores. So feed chickens and water seed starts. Okay, that is everything that is on my to-do list today. And like we've been saying, it's very overwhelming. That's a lot to try and accomplish in a day, when basically from 11 till 3:30 I can't do anything else, and then I have to drive to Escanaba. Actually, it's going to be more like 11 to 4:30 because that client's appointment is an hour. So then after 4:30 I have to drive to Escanaba, while also having a phone meeting at 5 p.m. Like, how is this all going to get accomplished? So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to prioritize the things that are most important on this list. So I just like to click on the row. We're going to highlight it. I'm going to highlight the things that are non-negotiable first. So things I cannot put off, they absolutely have to happen. I'm going to put the phone meeting as I have to, because it really, really does need to happen. I have to meet with Jordan because we need to get this done. And I have to feed the chickens. Oh, that didn't highlight. Hold on. I have to water the seed starts. Okay, so these are absolutely things that have to happen in my day. So I'm now going to rank those and number them from most important to least important. So I would say my cleaning client is pretty darn important. So we're going to rank her at 1. So I just sort of come across here and I'm going to put a 1 there. Same thing with my emotion code client. He is pretty important. So I'm going to rank him number 2. Oh, went too far. then I have to go to Escanaba and move my daughter. Like, her move out day is tomorrow, and our day is so compact tomorrow that I don't know that we're going to be able to accomplish it if we wait till tomorrow. So I am moving a big chunk of her stuff tonight, and then if we have to finish tomorrow, we can work that out. It won't take near as much time. But she does live an hour away, so that's 2 hours on the road either way that I look at it. So we are going to put that as number 3. Phone meeting with my aunt, I can actually do on the way to Esky because I have the capability with my phone to Bluetooth it, and so I can do that. I can do that safely. But I would not rank that as important as making sure that I meet with my son and take care of the screen. It's been something that's really, really been on his mind. So that is actually going to include me going to the bank first to take the money out. So I'm going to put go to bank before and to get money. Okay, but then we are going to rank this as number 4 on our list. Then we're going to put our phone meeting as number 5. And then feeding and watering the chickens and the seed stars are just a normal part of my day. So I am going to rank them as 6 and 7, but they're actually going to get accomplished before I leave my house this morning. But I have to rank them somehow, so we're going to just put 6 and 7. So that is already 7 things on my list today that I absolutely have to do that also are really important to my day. That means that some of these things on my list probably aren't getting accomplished. But even if I only accomplish the highlighted stuff, I have already accomplished so much in my day. Like, I can feel proud of that. I can feel proud that I did all of these things. And the other stuff, yes, I want my house to be clean because it is a disaster right now. But if I have to put it off for a couple of more days, we'll survive. If my family doesn't get homemade sourdough bagels today, they're going to survive. If I don't up-pot my tomatoes, I've got a few days of leadway on that. Everything else here is just extra if I have time to do it. So if you look at your to-do list like this and you rank it and you start working from the most important thing to the least important thing. And like I said, this looks a little bit different because of the timing. Like, I have certain things that have to be done at certain times. But I know my chickens will get fed today. I know that my seeds will get watered. If those are things I have to delegate to another member of the family to accomplish, I can. I have that leeway. The other things absolutely have to get accomplished. So I go in and I rank from most important to least important, and then everything else just kind of gets put onto the next to-do list until eventually time opens up to get those things accomplished. Being able to look at my to-do list in this way allows me to bring in my last tip for you guys, which is it allows me to give myself a little bit of grace. You are only one person and there are only so many hours in the day. We can only do so many tasks in a day. If I look at my to-do list like this, I'm already accomplishing 7 things off that to-do list for today. So I can give myself a little bit of grace on the things that I couldn't get to because I'm only one person and there are only 24 hours in a day. Another thing to remember when you're trying to give yourself that grace and just bring that into your mindset is that other people's opinions don't matter. They really don't. If someone's upset at you that you didn't accomplish something on that to-do list when you accomplished so many other major things in that day, then don't let that bother you. That's on that person. That's not on you. You have accomplished a ton of stuff and worked really freaking hard. So I try to remember that when I start feeling those feelings of overwhelm and just feeling like I'm never going to get it all done, because we can only do and handle so much as a person. That was a thing I really had to tell myself yesterday when I just felt like I hit that wall and I was just done. Like I was just overwhelmed and didn't know how to continue on to complete all these tasks. So, don't worry about what other people think. Lastly, I want you guys to know that if you're going through this season right now, that is truly what it is. This is just a season in your life. This is not the entirety of your life. Right now, you're going through the hard parts. But you'll get through it, and the other side of that, whenever you go through these really hard times and you feel like you're completely overwhelmed and you don't know how any of this is all going to work out in the end, just remember those are the times that are actually leading you to the success and to the good things that life has for you. We always go through the hard part before we get to that really good part. So just keep that in mind, that you don't have to feel like you are failing, because you're not. You are putting in the work right now, going through the hard part right now for the good, amazing things that life has. It is a season of your life. It is not your entire life. Your babies are going to grow up. It's not always going to be this hard. And as with anything in life, life ebbs and flows. So just remember, right now is just a season. Also, I just want you to know that you're not alone in this. Many people are in the same season that you are in. I just, shared with you guys my story about the season of life that I'm in right now. I'm very much in an overwhelmed state, and I'm trying to give myself some grace. But it is hard. I'm not gonna lie. It is freaking hard to remind ourselves of these things. We don't talk about this enough. But a lot of times we're all experiencing these same types of feelings together. People are afraid to talk about it. They're afraid to mention that they're maybe in a season of overwhelm. And honestly, why? Why are we afraid to mention that? Are we embarrassed? What is there to be embarrassed about? We all go through this. We all go through seasons that are crazy. We all go through feelings of overwhelm or, depression or anxiety about upcoming things in our life. We all go through those same emotions. So why are we embarrassed to talk about it? So just give yourself some grace today, you guys. That's what I want you to know, is just that we're all going through it. You're not alone in this, and we can get through it together. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you some encouragement as you go throughout your day today. If you found some value in this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I put out at least one video each week, sometimes more than that, but I try to shoot for one video a week. And I also have right now our Wellness Wednesday series going on. So that's where we talk about a different wellness topic every Wednesday. So check that out. I can link the playlist for that below. And yeah, just remember that this time is only a season. It is not your entire life, and that you are not alone in this. You are enough, you are worthy, and you are so very loved. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.